Imagine diving into the ocean and realizing you're not the apex predator anymore. What if something bigger, smarter, and far more terrifying than the great white still ruled the seas? For millions of years, the Megalodon was the undisputed ruler of Earth's oceans, a 60-foot monster with jaws that could crush a car. But around 2.6 million years ago, it vanished. Or did it? Today, we're diving deep into a chilling what-if scenario. What if the Megalodon never went extinct, and instead kept evolving until today? How massive could it have become? What would it hunt? And would humanity even be safe near the water? Let's find out. To understand what evolution could have done to the Megalodon, we first have to remember what it already was. The Otodus Megalodon wasn't just big, it was a living nightmare of muscle, teeth, and strategy. Estimates suggest it reached up to 24 meters long and weighed more than 90 tons. Its bite force? Over 40,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush a small submarine. It ruled every ocean on the planet, feasting on whales, dolphins, and even other sharks. But then, the oceans began to change. The Ice Age cooled the planet, whale populations shifted, and the Megalodon's warm water nurseries disappeared. And just like that, one of nature's greatest predators was gone. But what if it wasn't? What if, instead of dying out, the Megalodon adapted, evolving through cold, scarcity, and competition right into the modern age? Let's fast forward through 2.6 million years of evolution. If the Megalodon had survived, evolution would have reshaped it to fit a new ocean, colder, deeper, and dominated by new species like orcas, sperm whales, and giant squids. The new Megalodon wouldn't necessarily grow larger. Evolution doesn't always favor size. Instead, it might become leaner and faster, like a blend between a great white and a killer whale. A hydrodynamic body, powerful tail muscles, and maybe even partial warm-bloodedness to regulate body heat in colder water. Much like modern mako sharks. With millions of years to refine its abilities, it could develop an even sharper electrosensory system detecting prey through electric fields miles away. Imagine a predator that can sense your heartbeat from 100 meters below. And as the oceans grew more competitive, its brain would evolve to perhaps learning to hunt in groups, communicate through low-frequency vibrations, or coordinate ambushes like orcas. This wouldn't just be a shark. It would be the ocean's ultimate super predator, a hybrid of power, stealth, and intelligence that outmatches everything we know. But to survive, it would also need to adapt to a radically different world. The ocean today isn't what it was during the Miocene. It's colder, deeper, and louder, filled with ships, submarines, and sonar. The modern Megalodon might have migrated into deeper waters, perhaps between 500 and 2,000 meters deep, where whales still travel and human activity is rare. It could dwell along the continental shelves, following migrating whales across the Pacific and Atlantic. In these dark, freezing waters, it might evolve a layer of specialized fat, or a built-in thermal system similar to the great white's rete mirabile, allowing it to stay active even in icy temperatures. As whale numbers dropped and human ships crowded the surface, it might diversify its diet, targeting giant squids, large tuna, or even deep-sea creatures. But when food gets scarce, it would come closer to the surface again. That's when things would get terrifying. Let's imagine the year is 2025. Somewhere off the coast of South Africa, a cargo ship goes silent. The sonar shows something massive beneath it, 60 feet long, moving faster than any known whale. Moments later, the hull tears open like paper. For coastal communities, the oceans would never feel safe again. Fishermen vanish. Entire pods of whales disappear mid-migration. And every sonar scan shows one haunting signature, a shadow larger than a bus, circling in the depths. Governments would scramble to track it. Drones, submarines, sonar grids, even satellite imaging. But this creature, evolved for millions of years to outsmart prey, would learn to avoid sonar, perhaps emitting counter-frequencies or hiding in thermal layers. Military forces might deploy depth charges or acoustic lures, but they'd only provoke it further. You can't outsmart something that's been the master of the ocean for eons. It's easy to see the Megalodon as a monster, but in truth, it was nature's balance. If it had survived, the ocean ecosystem would be very different today. Whale populations would stay smaller, keeping the plankton balance stable. Fewer whales mean fewer nutrients falling to the sea floor, which could impact deep-sea biodiversity. In other words, the Megalodon's survival might have shaped the entire marine food web. And evolution wouldn't stop there. Smaller predators, great whites, orcas, even crocodiles, might have evolved new defensive traits, sharper senses, faster reflexes, or even group strategies to survive against the Meg. In that sense, the Megalodon wouldn't just rule the oceans, it would reshape life itself. But even evolution has limits. The bigger the predator, the greater the need for food, and the more fragile the balance becomes. A modern Megalodon would need to eat at least 1,000 kilograms of meat per day just to survive. That's roughly an entire seal every few hours, or a whale calf every week. With shrinking fish populations and polluted waters, this apex predator would face starvation fast. And the colder the oceans get, the more energy it would burn maintaining body heat. Sooner or later, nature would push back. Could this new Megalodon outlast the changes we humans created, warming oceans, chemical pollution, overfishing? Or would it once again face extinction? Not from nature this time, but from us. In one future, the Megalodon retreats into the deep ocean trenches, like the Mariana Trench, evolving bioluminescent organs and slow metabolism to conserve energy. It becomes a ghost of the deep, rarely seen, feeding on carcasses and occasional whales that drift down. Scientists might catch glimpses massive scars on squid, strange low-frequency sounds recorded on sonar but never proof. It becomes legend again, just as it once was. In another path, the Megalodon adapts to warmer, polluted waters near the equator. It grows smaller but faster, perhaps 40 feet long, an ambush predator attacking fishing vessels, orcas, and submarines. Humans would classify it as a global threat, leading to ocean-wide hunts, sonar nets, and maybe even attempts to capture one alive. But how do you capture evolution itself? And finally, the boldest possibility. The Megalodon doesn't hide or shrink. It thrives. It dominates whale pods, forces new migrations, and even alters climate indirectly by changing carbon cycles in the sea. In this version of Earth, humans would have to share the planet with a predator as intelligent as it is enormous. We might build ocean barriers, restrict travel zones, or even create robotic guard whales to protect ships. But deep down, we'd always know we're not at the top anymore. Now picture this. A deep-sea research team descends into the Pacific aboard a submersible. They're tracking whale songs when their sonar picks up something unusual, a low, rhythmic pulse. It's not mechanical. It's organic. Then, a shadow the size of a blue whale passes beneath them, smooth, silent, and impossibly fast. The lights flicker. The cameras shake. And for just 1 second, they see it rows of teeth the length of a man. and an eye glowing in the dark. A creature from prehistory, reborn by evolution, staring right back. That's when humanity realizes extinction was never the end. It was just a pause. So, what would happen if the Megalodon never stopped evolving? It wouldn't just be a bigger shark, it would be an entirely new apex species, capable of reshaping marine ecosystems and challenging human dominance of the oceans. It might push whales into new migrations, destroy modern shipping routes, and force humans to rethink their relationship with the sea. But maybe, just maybe, its survival would remind us of something deeper, that Earth's power doesn't belong to us. It belongs to life itself. Life that adapts, endures, and evolves, no matter how terrifying the result. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe, and check out the channel to find more amazing and new videos.